Hi everyone, in this video we're going to talk about Edsby report cards. We're going to talk a little bit about how to make sure your weighting is right and how to do your comments. I'll show you a few tricks I do to make sure my comments are great. So we're going to cover weighting in two ways. First, we can just adjust it right in the drop down, and that's probably the easiest way. We can modify our marks on the fly in one field to make sure they adjust to what we want. And then afterwards, I'll show you how to make buckets or categories, which is a little bit more complex method, but it works. Okay, so I'm in my grade book. You can see I actually have quite a bit of marks. And I have two culminating. So culminating market day, culminating how to run a successful business. Now between these two, I want them to be worth 30% of my course. So 15% for this, 15% for that. So the easiest way to do that is to go under my edit weighting under the gear right here. Click on edit weighting. And we'll see, you should see that you at least have one bucket. The default bucket is called everything else. So if I drop the bucket down, I'll see all my assignments here. And I can actually change my assignments right here. So I may want this to actually be worth 5 points. And that translates to how much of it is of the course right here. So because I weighted at 5, it's worth 1.9% of my course. And if I want something to be worth a little bit more, like I do want my quizzes to be worth a little bit more, I can change the numbers and then they change what they're worth of the course here. Now, if I scroll to the very bottom, I have my two final summatives. So let's say I'd already fixed this, but let's say they were weighted to this. So my final summatives are supposed to be worth 30% of my course. So I can just change the numbers right here, right? So if I've weighted it to 10, it translates to 4.8% of my course, 4.8% of my course. So I can actually just change the numbers. So maybe 20 and 20. No, that's about 9 and 9 is 18. So I could change it to, I don't know, 35 and 35. Okay, no, 13% and 13% of my course. So I think I'm going to get it to 40 and 40. So if I set these both to 40 and 40, then my final summative is worth about 30% of my course, right? 14.8. And if I wanted to be very exact, I could probably, I don't know, change this 43 and 43. Oh, maybe 42 and 42. We're fighting with decimals here, right? So that is how I could simply weight my final to be 30% of my course, or whatever it is that I've said my final should be. Generally it's 30. Or I could do it another way. This is the second way. I can say that when I make my assignments, I make sure I'm going to edit it. So by doing that, I'm going to click on the assignment right here, and then I'm going to hit edit. Okay, and I'm going to make sure its type is what I want it to be. So you see its type is final summative. I could make it final exam or something else. So it has to be what I set it as, because later on what I'm going to do is, since this is a final summative and this is a final summative, I can go to edit weighting. And instead of manually changing them here, if I want to be more strict, I think it's a little bit more complicated to do this, I can say final summatives are a separate bucket. So you see here now I have two buckets. I have a final summative and I have everything else. So now I can say my final summatives are worth 30% of my course, which makes everything else worth 70% of my course. And then I can click it down and see, okay, well the culminating market day assessment is worth 15%, and the culminating how to run a successful business presentation is worth 15. And now I can still change that and say maybe I want this one to be worth a little bit more. And again, I gotta save. Okay, so there's two ways to save. One, you could just actually modify these numbers right in everything else to suit. Or you can go to the top and make a new bucket by saying choose what's in this bucket, and then make a new bucket and then weight it. Okay, now we're going to do something new with comments. I'm going to use Microsoft Copilot, which is like ChatGPT or artificial intelligence. It's right at office.com. We're going to show ChatGPT or Copilot, sorry. We're going to show Copilot what we want our comments to look like using the guidelines we got from our admin. I'm gonna give it my curriculum so that my comments are based on my curriculum, and then I'm gonna talk to it a little bit about each student and what the comments should look like, and I'll make sure we use Edsby to copy comments when it's appropriate. Okay, so I'm gonna log in at office.com. And we see here I have my co-pilot, my artificial intelligence here, who's ready to help me do my comments. So first off, I want to show it how to do my comments. So like I said, we got this presentation right here, which tells us how to do our report card comments. I'm going to take some sample comments. So I'm going to go like this. I'm going to go, hi, can you help me do my report card comments? First, I'll give you some samples. Okay, that's one. And actually, normally I'd hit enter, but let's make it quick. And let's go here and grab a few. Hopefully it understands. Another is... And then, so I want to give it like a whole bunch of different comments so I can get the general length of what I want my comments to look like. So I'm just copying and pasting. Another is, okay, let's see. Copilot, what's Copilot going to say about that? Now, it's not really ready. Absolutely, I can help you craft comments. Thanks for sharing those samples. Okay, great stuff. But actually, I want to give it my curriculum because this is a business class. So first, I'll give you my curriculum that we are commenting on. Okay, and I got the business curriculum here. I'm going to focus on strand A. So yeah, let's do that. Actually, maybe we'll go to B too. It's easy enough to copy. Okay, so that's enough. Grade 9 business. So I copied the strands. And it perfect. Thanks for sharing the curriculum. This gives me a clear framework to move forward. Now you can provide me student names. Now let's go. Now, I've got Felix here. Felix has an 88 in my class. Felix made a market day business on candles. He was really good. He is very responsible in class. So let's say, make a comment for Felix, who did his market day final activity on Candle Corner, which was his business name, and which was really good. Now, I don't actually have to provide the great words because it's going to do it for me, so I can just say it was really good. Felix also works well with groups and is a leader in class. So let's see what it says. Felix demonstrated strong leadership skills and collaboration skills throughout the course, consistently contributing to group activities and supporting his peers. His final market day project, Candle Corner, was a standout example of entrepreneurial thinking. Felix applied the design and pitch process. Yeah, that's pretty good. Okay, so is that 3 sentences? I like 3 sentences. 1 sentence, 2 sentence, 3. Okay, that's about right. I'm going to hit copy. Now, I'm going to open this back up. I'm going to go back to Edsby, and I'll put this in Felix here. It's 143 over, so we should probably tell it it's being a bit too verbose. You are being too wordy. You are 140 characters over. Make it shorter, please. Oh. I still need 3 sentences like the ones I pasted. Now I'm fighting with AI on video. That's great. Okay, Felix demonstrated strong leadership and collaboration skills during group activity. His market day project, Candle Corner, was creative and well executed. Felix is encouraged to continue developing his entrepreneurial thinking and communication skills. That's pretty good. So I'm going to go over here. I'm going to paste that in. You see I have a little bit left. I could expand if I want. And I can fill. So now let's say Felix has a partner. I can hit fill. Okay. And I can select. Right? Now, maybe I've got Zillan, who is his partner, but I also have Cecil and Adriana, who did something else, and I'm actually going to change the business name, but I feel that they're similar. So I can go click here, select the students it applies. I can select all level 4s, or I could select all level 3s, or I can select these 3 students manually, and then I hit fill. Now, before I do that, so I'm going to hit fill and close, but before I do that, I find it's best to hit replace cell content. So it will replace it entirely. Not only will it do that, but it will change the names. So because I use the word Felix, it realizes that that's Felix's first name, and when it copies over to Adriana, it's going to switch it. And so we hit fill and close here, and we see when I go down to Adriana here, it does it. It knows that Adriana's a her. It knows that Zillan's a her. And now what I might do is say, well, actually, Cecil didn't do candle corner. Cecil did do DIY designs, right? And so I can still reference it and change each one. But I'm using Copilot with my curriculum to build my comments. Okay, so now let's talk about Adam. Adam has a 65 in the course. Adam had some independent work and initiative issues, so we're probably going to put that at satisfactory right here. Adam's market day business was fishing lures, and he actually did do the fishing lure business, but there were some customer service issues, some branding issues, and a lot of the concepts we taught in the course really weren't exemplified. So let's see if Copilot can help me with that. Now do one for Adam, who is performing at a level 2. Adam had some issues with initiative, and what did I say? And independent work. Adam is Adam's market day business on fishing lures could have used more focus on branding and research strategies, where we research what customers actually want. Okay, so let's see if Copilot can give me some ideas. Adam is developing his understanding of business concepts and encouraged to take more initiative in his independent work. His market day project on fishing lures showed potential. It would have benefited from stronger branding and research. Continued focus on self-directed learning will support his growth in future business tasks. Okay, that's pretty good too. And again, so I can post this now. I'm not suggesting you just use it. I did want to show that Copilot can fill some holes if you want to make your language a little bit tighter, if you want to get some ideas. Obviously, you would change these and use some of our language from our tasks. But I wanted to show how you could get it to sort of, at least give you a good start, and how you could use the fill button to copy that over to a similar student. Let's say Charlotte is similar. I usually almost always replace cell content so that it copies it and it doesn't add to it. And then I go fill, and now I go to Charlotte. And Charlotte is developing her, because it's a her, not a he. Her market day project on fishing lures, and again, maybe it's not. Maybe they didn't do it on fishing lures, but otherwise the comment is similar, and the fill works. So that's how you use the fill button, and you use Copilot to get some good sentence starters for comments. And that's it. Hope that helps. Give me an email if you have any questions.